Fifth grade, I hope all is well. We are entering a new unit, Shuffleboard. Okay, this game is similar to two other games we played this year, Can Jam and Cornhole. And the similarity is your partner will be on the opposite side of the playing area. All right, now this game can be played 1 versus 1 or a 2v2 game. And we'll be doing a 2 versus 2 game. And when we go out on our field trip, we'll actually have 4 players per team. Okay, but the object of the game is to score more points than your opponent after 8 frames of gameplay. On to the equipment. At the top left, we have the discs, also known as biscuits. And then below it, we have the cues, also known as tangs. You'll be using both pieces of equipment to engage in the game of shuffleboard. All right, next up, we have the shuffleboard court. And as you can see at the top of the triangle, you can score 10 points. Below that, it's 8 points. And below that, it's 7 points. The last part of the board where it says 10 and off, that's called the kitchen. Okay, and if you land inside of there, your team gets negative 10 points. So you do not want to land in that area. Okay, a rule of thumb for in this game of shuffleboard, if your biscuit lands on a line, you do not get the points associated with that biscuit. However, there is one special line that if a biscuit lands on it, you still get those negative points. And that's within the kitchen, as you can see from the red circle in this picture. Okay, so if your biscuit lands on that specific line, it still counts as negative 10 points. Here's a quick example of what I mean. All right, you can see that there's a yellow biscuit on the court already. Actually, there's 3 of them, and but there's one that's on the 8, but it's also touching a line, so it counts as 0 points. This black biscuit that was just shuffled landed on the line, and it also counts as 0 points because it is on the line. All right, a rule that's very important is to know that each player gets 4 shuffles with their biscuits each, okay? If you remember cornhole, you remember that each player got how many throws, okay? 4 is the correct answer. It's the same thing for shuffleboard. Next, we'll be discussing how to keep score, okay? Unlike the game of cornhole, in shuffleboard, each round you will continue to add upon the previous round's score. Okay, there's no cancellation going on unless you end up in the kitchen. And as you remember, if you end up in the kitchen, your team gets negative 10 points. Okay, so here we have the scoreboard. Mr. Wilson versus a student. All right, and we're going to make believe, right? Mr. Wilson, after I shoot all 4 of my biscuits down the court, end up with 1-7. And after the student shoots their 4 or shuffles their 4 discs, they end up with 8. All right. After we do that, we would then go to the scoreboard and we put down 7 for me and 8 for the student. During the next frame, my partner and the student's partner, they shuffled the biscuits back towards our side. And after their round, the score is now 17-16. Okay, so how many points did my teammates score on the way down? And how many points did the student's teammates score on the way down in order to end up with this score? Think about it for a few seconds. If you guessed 10 for my teammate, you were absolutely right. And if you guessed 8 for the student's teammate, you were absolutely right. And because they received those points, we would then add that round to the previous round, and the score would be 17-16. Okay, things are about to get tricky. Mr. Wilson and the student, okay, we're about to go shuffle down again. All right, after our round of shuffling 4 biscuits each, the score is now 27-6. Think about if you can explain what has happened here. If you remember some of the rules from earlier, you know that if I have 27 points now, or my team has 27 points now, that means that I scored 10 points, a total of 10 points on the way down. However, the student and their teammate now have 6 points. So where did they land or where did the student land that I was playing against that his team would now have 6 points? If you mentioned the kitchen, you were absolutely right. Remember, when you land in the kitchen, it is negative 10 points. All right, this last video is last year's 5th grade class heading to Royal Palms in Brooklyn, New York. And your cohort will also be going there the end of May, early June to play at this Shuffleboard facility. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we will work on more skills and drills during class in order to become great shuffleboard players.